That's right, we're taking over. Welcome to Pop Culture Punch-Out, episode 103 with Zorgog. I'm here with, and we're going to talk AEW contracts that are coming up from AEW Originals, NCAA College Football 25-26, Week 1, some interesting matchups right off the rip. And we're going to talk some New Japan. A lot of big things were happening last night. And all but 4 of the G1 Climax competitors have been announced. The final 4 will earn their way in via qualifying matches. And then, obviously, 28 Years Later is coming out next week on the 20th. So me and Bo are going to tell you what we want to see out of the trilogy, especially the first film. I'm looking forward to it. So they said there's like multiple breeds of infected. Mm-hmm. Some are very weak, and then there's the alphas. So apparently that giant one is an alpha.
Okay.
So we'll get into that. We'll close with that because that's like the big thing to talk about. I think this movie is going to open huge, honestly. And why? Because it's not a silly movie. It's a movie that is filled with lore. I would say the 28 Days franchise universe could be a reality at some point, oddly enough. I mean, it's scary to talk about, but, you know, around the world, people are experimenting with once believed eradicated dead viruses. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that something like that could happen. So I think you get interest because of that, because of the apocalyptic overtones. Mm-hmm. Also, the Bone Temple in the trailer is very interesting. The whole set and layout of the movie just looks broad and very, very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll close with that. But first, AEW news, a couple of bits. Private Party's contract is up shortly. They have been off TV since they lost the tag team titles to the Hurt Syndicate. There's obviously, people say there's interest from WWE. I don't know what you do with Private Party.
I think this is another one of those ones close to Mariah May, where it's like, Tony, you need to lock up your young talent.
Yeah.
Especially Private Party's tag team title win was one of the biggest feel-good moments in the company. Like, these guys finally did it. Mm-hmm. And then you did nothing. They went against jobbers and then got destroyed by the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah. And then we didn't even get like a real rollback rematch or anything like that. They
just disappeared after.
So
this is honestly one of the few times where they're so young where I could see NXT working out for them.
Yeah, to their benefit.
Even to like I would go for like a small 2-year contract with them, just see what you can do. Try and rise your name back up. And, you know, if I were Tony Khan and they did leave, I'd always be welcoming back with open arms.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're the type of team to talk smack.
No, because before there was AEW, I don't think there was any interest from WWE. Maybe TNA/Impact. But certainly WWE wasn't on the Private Party radar.
Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about how if they do leave, they want them going with Ashante the Adonis. Mm-hmm. Because that could be a really good stable.
It could. But my only issue with WWE is they put these stables together and then it becomes a non-factor. Mm. You know what I mean? And then if you bring Private Party in, they're going to either have to tweak their characters, or they're going to have to tweak the Street Profits.
Yeah.
Because they're very similar in gimmick.
I think a big issue that I have though is I've been noticing recently all these contracts that come up and the people kind of aren't immediately set to re-sign are the ones where Tony gives a big moment and then doesn't know what to do with them. And it's kind of starting to show this pattern where he gets the run up to the title perfectly. He does not know how to book a title.
No, neither does WWE. So your two biggest, the two big companies, let's just lay it out, in the United States don't know how to book champions. They don't.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know how to book singles champions, mid-card champions, tag team champions. They don't know. TK had the right idea with the Death Riders, with him and Mox, but then they got a committee involved, and then it sunk for a month or so, and now it's back. But now it's back to the point where now I've got a clusterfuck with Hangman, Swerve, and Ospreay.
Yeah, they had a good notion going, and now they're back to me being like, where the fuck is this storyline even going? Like,
yeah, because now it's like, okay, so now what? The Death Riders, I guess, have to attack everybody involved, even though. So Swerve has a match with Ospreay. Ends in a draw. They get attacked. Here comes Hangman. He gets it. These are the type of things that take away from a main title storyline.
I'm gonna think that maybe they're gonna have Swerve and Ospreay team up to go against maybe Yuta and Claudio. And almost a way to, like, they get the win, and so now, like, Claudio and Yuta are beat up. They can't help Mox.
I think they're going to go in a different direction where they're going to book at All In the Young Bucks versus Ospreay and Swerve. And then it's going to be overbooked. The Hangman Mox match is going to be overbooked.
It's gonna be like Cody and Roman at WrestleMania, where everybody's just coming out.
But you're not going to know who's going to win. I thought I had a lock. I thought that this was the guy who's beating Mox. Now I don't know. Now I don't know what the fuck they're going to do with this title.
I think it's 100% the direction they have to go at this point.
Well, yeah, you have to, because you built it up. You built it up for the main person against this group, which was Darby Allin, who's available now. Now, are they gonna fucking do a triple pivot? I have no fucking clue.
At this point, Darby's been done with Mount Everest for a while, and I don't know when or if we'll see him back. When is his contract even up?
Not anytime soon. Okay. He re-signed. He and I think Sting was with him to get the rub on Darby.
Yeah. And it like worked. Darby. It worked, but I don't think it worked for the World Heavyweight title yet.
I think it worked for him to have a run. I don't know when. I thought a logical win for him would be over Moxley. Darby Allin is Mick Foley in a smaller frame. So he's an underdog, right? He's a sadistic type of wrestler. He doesn't give a shit if he gets hurt. He'll hurt the other people. I mean, he lit a motherfucker on fire.
Yeah.
So, so that's the underdog character is built into Darby.
Now I've reached the hard notion where I don't think fans would be happy. Because now it's Darby Allin or Hangman Adam Page.
Yeah.
And Hangman is so clearly over right now.
But I think the clear path for a Hangman win is going to be, conversely, losing at World's End to Swerve, who then is going to lose to Ospreay, who then is going to lose to MJF. I'm just lining up the logistic champions. And then MJF is going to lose either to a babyface Jon Moxley or a babyface Kenny Omega on his last run. Right? So where does Okada fit in and Takeshita? Because they should be planted in the main event scene, and they're not.
They did announce that the Unified Championship is going to be a second main title.
Yeah, I saw that, and it's cool.
It's smart because
it's smart to do that. Are they going to execute it well? Because their ideas are great. The execution is sometimes very terrible.
I'm going to assume we're almost going to go in a not in a way to, make them sound good, because I don't think they're doing it well. But I wonder if they're almost going to go in a WWE direction where the AEW World Heavyweight title is your storyline based title, where that is like the main championship, but it also has the main story around it. Whereas the Unified title, I mean, clearly with them doing Kenny and Okada, it's about the wrestling.
Yeah.
It's purely about the match.
Well, because they did that with the Continental Classic, which now I don't know. What are they going to do with that? They got the Continental Classic. You got the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament. You got like they're bringing it. It's almost like the company in and of itself has ADD.
I think
they don't know what to do.
I think you could keep the C2, make it for the Unified. Keep the Owen, make that purely for.
What if you keep the C2 and not make it for the Unified, but you make the C2 the winner of the final two? So what they did last year, I liked. They had the runner-up challenge the winner from the opposite bracket. Yeah. So you do that, and then the winner of that of those gets to choose
whether he wants to go for
the title that they go after, whether it's Unified or the World Heavyweight Championship.
In which I think a perfect direction to go if Kenny is winning that title, which I think Kenny is winning that title.
Yeah, because I think now Okada is going to... You kind of gotta, at this point, turn him face.
Mm-hmm.
I would turn him face and keep Takeshita bad.
Yeah.
And then Takeshita, now he beats Okada twice, right? This is what I would do. So it's a hypothetical. If you agree, cool. If not, tell me what you would do. But much in the way that Takeshita's beaten Omega multiple times, I would have him beat Okada and now say, well, now I'm in the fucking conversation.
Because I've beaten the two best.
multiple times each. So now I should be in the conversation. And I think you have a triple threat blow-off with Takeshita winning that championship.
Yeah. I also, if they go the direction of Kenny winning the belt, I think you have to have Ospreay win the C2 this year.
Yeah, because that's... So, listen.
Because if that's a purely wrestling main title, Ospreay's your champion.
And I think if this is Kenny's last run as an active full-time pro wrestler, before he does the Danielson thing, where he steps back more with creative coaching, and occasionally at the big four shows, these guys should have matches. You know what I mean? Because they're not part-timers. Because if they're working backstage, that's not a part-time thing. You give them big matches.
They're just full-time, but...
Yeah. You give them big matches at... Right now, in my opinion, your big four pay-per-views, All Out ain't one of them anymore. It's Revolution, it's All In, it's Full Gear, and World's End. Those are your pivotal pay-per-views where big things should happen.
I would have said Forbidden Door, but honestly, recently it just feels like New Japan jobbing to AEW.
Yeah, outside of Naito, who couldn't even fucking walk, beating Mox.
But I think, speaking on the terms of Danielson, I'm 90% certain that we hear his music during All In.
And that might be one of the reasons Mox loses is, fuck, now this guy's coming in.
Like, I thought I got rid of him.
And wouldn't it be some shit if Danielson comes in after the match and puts a bag over Mox's head?
Yeah. And honestly, I would go even further, and Danielson and Kingston were working together to fuck up Mox.
Yeah.
And I think a perfect match to go into Forbidden Door, Moxley and Gabe Kidd against Eddie Kingston and Danielson. The two who got fucked over by these two.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, basically, the injury wasn't supposed to happen, but
you
it
can
did.
work it in the storyline.
And most good bookers will work reality into the story.
I absolutely think that's why Gabe Kidd is there, is for a returning Eddie Kingston.
Yeah, and not only that, I do think like TK is stupid if he doesn't sign this guy.
Yeah.
If he doesn't at least make an offer to get him. I could understand, though, Gabe Kidd wanting to stay in New Japan.
He's over as hell.
Well, not only that, but think about it. So you go over there, you're a UK wrestler, right? I mean, when you first saw Gabe Kidd in What Culture Pro Wrestling on YouTube, he was maybe 200 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was a very like lanky, mat-based technical style wrestler. In it worked, right? He morphed into like this amalgamation almost of Stone Cold, Mox, and I throw a little bit of Zack Sabre in there.
Mm.
Whereas he's a brawling technical wrestler that fans will cheer, but he is always better as a bad guy. And that's why, in my opinion, I think you have to keep Mox a bad guy for a while more. You can't just have him lose and then, oh man, now he's a sympathetic babyface. Yeah. Well, the guy tried to kill his best friend and co-leader of the Blackpool Combat Club by asphyxiation. There have been a lot of attempted murders in AEW. More so than WWE/WWF. I'm going back to like Rikishi running Austin over for Triple H. Like there have been, or who got dropped in the ambulance? Was it Roman or was Braun the one that was almost killed?
Oh, it was Roman speared Braun through the ambulance, but then Strowman threw him in it and pushed the ambulance over.
Okay, so it was the heel that did the bad thing. Because in WWE logic, sometimes it's like the good guy does the heel thing.
It's like, why did the good guy just like try and fucking murder?
That's like, so here's the thing, Bo, that bothers me in pro wrestling, and it always has. If you're the champion and you're in the ring and your opponent getting counted out, why are you going fucking out of the ring to throw the motherfucker back in the ring? You could have won by count out and you keep the title.
I never thought I'd say this, but with how things were going recently, I was sitting down being nostalgic. And I was like, man, as much as that era did suck at times, it was way better than whatever the fuck is going on right now.
Triple H Vince Russo has said, and I know, listen, a lot of people have waning opinions on Vince Russo. For me, I don't blame him for WCW going under. I think they brought him in to see, well, he helped with WWF when they turned around versus WCW. So maybe this type of car crash TV can help WCW come back and take the lead from WWF. It just didn't work out that way because Eric Bischoff was allowed to handle the checkbook.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave people, this was the first guaranteed contracts in pro wrestling, were WCW. We've gone over all the lore and all the stories of WCW being afraid that, oh my God, Razor and Diesel are returning to WWE. Yeah. We got to fucking get them in here. They added millions of dollars to their already high guaranteed contracts. Well, what the fuck do you expect Scott Hall and Kevin Nash to do? They have families.
Yeah.
Right? What are they going to do? We're not going back. Why are you offering us this money? I'm be like, yeah, the fuck we were going to go back. You better give us this money. But that was the death of WCW. It was the old wrestlers refusing to work and put the younger people over. It was Eric Bischoff. It was Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, it was because the old ones got too used to Bischoff's business.
Yep. Bischoff and Hogan put the dagger in WCW, and the Turner Broadcasting team merging with Time Warner AOL put the final nail because they did not want wrestling.
Yeah. And you can tell Turner didn't care anymore.
Well, Turner cared, but when you have, listen, even if you're super wealthy like Ted Turner,
yeah,
the upper 1% of the 1%, right?
Yeah.
Man, if you're throwing billions of dollars at me,
I'm gonna take it.
20, I'm talking 25 years ago, billions of dollars.
So like trillions.
Yeah, you're gonna take it, right? So what choice did he have? And then Bischoff and Fusion Entertainment, which was his group with Jason Hervey, former star of the Wonder Years with Fred Savage. They put a bid in, right? But they said, listen, but we need to keep the TV slot, at least for Nitro. We don't need Thunder, but we need that television slot on Monday nights if we're going to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
And Time Warner was like, nope. We'll sell to you, but we're not having you retain any of the TV. So Bischoff had to pull out because what are you going to do without TV?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're between a rock and a hard place. And then Vince comes in and buys the entire company for $2.5 million.
Yeah.
Pennies on the dollar. And of course he's going to act like he put them out of business, kayfabe wise.
Oh yeah, because it's easy.
But even he knows they put themselves out of business.
Oh yeah.
Vince almost put himself out of business how many times? Where we have one more episode left in the Mr. McMahon documentary.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot about him, and I'm not excusing the heinosities that he's been accused of committing, but man, this dude had a rough childhood.
Yeah.
You can see how someone
became so demented
would go through that and think that acting that way is normal when you're raised and that's how people treat you, right? Just think about the mental damage that was done to him to where now, you know what? My total focus, my love is WWF.
Yeah.
That is my wife. That is my children. I'm not saying he's a good or bad father.
Yeah.
I don't know how he was outside of WWF because that consumed him. And I would imagine him away from that after the Janelle Grant lawsuit and allegations, being jettisoned from that is worse than losing his wife to him. Because this is what he built a relationship with. He built a life with the WWE.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not making excuses for the guy, but man, if you're a fan of wrestling or were a fan of wrestling and don't even watch anymore, watch this documentary.
Yeah.
Because this guy let a lot of old wounds open up.
Yeah.
He really did. And I will tell you this, though, this motherfucker still plays the victim like nobody.
Yeah.
Like, even in this lawsuit, he's being victimized somehow. He's doing the heinous shit, but in his mind, again, it's justified, right? Which is crazy. It really is. Bo, what would you say out of 5 stars, this documentary? I'm 4.5 so far from me. I mean, it's given me
it's great.
The information that came out that I didn't know before.
Yeah. And now we're at a point where God knows where it's going to go.
The last episode is now
this allegation.
It was filmed after the allegation.
Yeah.
So now his feet are on the hot coals. The floor is lava.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to see how that goes. Now I want to go to the 2025-2026 NCAA College Football. Some interesting games week 1, Bo.
Mm.
I'm going to go to, so this is going to be Thursday, August 28th, 2025. I'm going to be honest. Saturday, August 23rd, you have Iowa State at Kansas State. That could be decent. Then you got, Fresno State at Kansas, Sam Houston at Western Kentucky, Stanford at Hawaii. Those are going to be your standard mid games. But when you go down a little ways, you start to see some bigger games that are on the docket. And there's one in particular that I saw, and that's going to be, I believe, week 2, technically, September 2nd through the 7th. So let me go down here. So no, this is still technically. So this will be Saturday, August 30th. Okay?
Yeah.
Texas, the Longhorns at Ohio State. Already. Early in the season.
Yeah.
Syracuse at Tennessee. Mississippi State at Southern Mississippi. We have, get down here because we got a Bama. I believe it's Bama at Florida State. Where did I see it? Yep, Alabama at the Florida State Seminoles. So some of the big games are they're coming.
Yeah.
Early. Marshall at Georgia. Jesus Christ, that's going to be a slaughter. Then Nevada at Penn State, another one-way game. Montana State at Oregon. I would assume Oregon takes that. But Texas and Ohio State was the main one. When I saw that that early in the season, that could very well be a preview of the college football championship.
Yeah.
That very game. And I think Boe's team, Boise State at South Florida on Thursday, August 28th.
Yeah.
That's week 1. South Florida's not that good. But Ashton Gianti is in the NFL, so it's going to be interesting, to say the least, to see how Boise State performs without him.
Yeah.
Did they build up their running game behind him enough to get some shit done? So, yeah, that August 30th matchup is, and it is technically still week 1 because week 2 starts September 2nd. So week 1 starts Saturday, August 23rd and goes through Saturday, August 30th because they spread some of the games out. But that right there is highlight on my schedule is Texas, Ohio State.
Yeah.
And I think the expected outcome would be Ohio State beating Texas here and then Texas winning the rest of their games.
Yeah. Behind
Arch Manning.
Yeah.
This is his audition. In a little bit of NFL news, AR is not looking good for him to be starting. Yeah. That shoulder again. He could go down as one of the biggest busts in the NFL. That wasn't the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
But he was number 4. I mean, that's high enough. So what do you think about some of those early games?
I mean, it seems like they're just trying to go for they're trying to really go for just a dominant, competitive season.
Yeah, starting off like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what you have to go for, is because college games tend to turn into just burials, where it's just one team plowing
another.
Yeah.
And it's not hyper competitive like that.
And we just need as many things as possible to kind of turn it into now anybody could win.
Yeah.
This tournament towards the end of the season.
Yeah, because you need that with the expanded playoff. I need to believe that Boise State could go all the way.
Yeah.
I need to believe that Penn State may beat Ohio State in 2025.
Yeah.
So that's, good on that. Let me see. Rich Swann no longer with TNA. Mike Bailey hopes to stay 20 years in AEW. Said he said in an interview that he was so happy when AEW was announced because it ended the monopoly in the United States on wrestling and around the world, because don't forget, they were trying to make NXT global.
Yeah.
They tried to buy New Japan. They tried to buy Stardom. They took all the UK-based wrestlers and created NXT UK.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Connors, they took El Ligero, they took everybody. Pete Dunne, and that's, for me, Pete Dunne is the biggest tragedy.
Yeah, because he is so good, man.
So good, and I think, like, you look at him now, and it's like looking at Andrew Luck when he walked away from football. It's like they sucked his love and passion for what he does out of him.
Yeah.
And it's going to take a long time for Pete Dunne for that to return, much like it took a long time for that love to return to Andrew Luck, to where he's working with Stanford now.
Yeah.
With the football program.
Yeah.
You know, when it's funny to think, man, you think that, oh, well, these guys are making a ton of money, and it doesn't mean you're happy.
Yeah.
So
and that's what some of these guys care about. They don't want to just make money. They love the sport.
It's like, I make money, and that's awesome that I have this financial security.
I have income.
I have a financial security for me, for my family, my kids, possibly even grandkids if I have grandchildren.
Yeah.
But do I love what I'm doing, and am I happy doing it? You know, and for Andrew Luck, it became, man, I am sick of getting the shit kicked out of me every year. I'm sick of having to recover from multiple injuries every year because this fucking organization cannot, for the life of them, give me a solid O-line until my last year as an active fucking player.
Yeah.
I mean, it's happiness versus money. Terrell Owens is the kind of guy, I'm all about me, I want the money.
Yeah.
The championship, if he won one, great. That's icing on the cake. But for him, he was getting paid.
Yeah.
You know, there's different personalities, but I think money does not make you happy. In some cases, it can make you miserable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, man, the only reason friends and family, quote unquote, stick around is because of that money. Because of that fame, that notoriety. They're in a circle that they wouldn't otherwise be in if you weren't famous. And they glom on and they stay with you simply because of that.
Yeah.
But as MC Hammer found out when he went bankrupt, all of his friends and his employees left him.
Yeah.
Because they weren't getting paid. But he's like, I paid you when I shouldn't have. I kept you on. This is a hard lesson. You have to make sure that you keep the people that were with you and supporting you when you were down here.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people that began supporting you when you got up here will not be there when you fall back down.
Yeah.
And I think happiness and money, now we're getting into a serious topic, but happiness does not equal money. And money does not equal happiness. Are you fulfilled? Is your heart fulfilled? Do you love what you're doing? Do the people around you give a shit?
Yeah.
When you lose it all, if and when, will they still be there? Because oftentimes they're not going to be. And that's why money can make you miserable.
Yeah.
So the G1, I'm picking my winner already. I think it's going to be Yota Tsuji.
Yeah. I will. I think I'm going to go crazy. I think Takeshita. I think they're going to have an AEW guy go all the way.
I mean, that would be cool. That would be cool. I would be fine with that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because it would be unexpected, right? But I do think, regardless of what they choose, Yota Tsuji is the guy of the future for New Japan. Shooter could have been, but I think he took missteps. And of course, everyone says, "Oh, nepotism. His father is the head referee." No. I'm going to tell you this. Do you think Bret and Owen Hart took any less of a savage beating when training in the dungeon than anybody else?
Yeah.
No. As a matter of fact, they probably went harder. Stu Hart probably went harder on his own sons.
Yeah.
All of them. I think there were 4 of them that were wrestling. I'm going to further that with, I think the New Japan dojo is not an easy place.
Yeah.
Ask any wrestler who's gone through there. Because they got to make sure, dude, that you're going to take a beating and be able to perform. Because they're also not traveling around everywhere performing every day. So they got to make sure if you get a fucking stinger or if you pull something, you're not going to be out for fucking 6 months to a year.
Yeah.
And the strong style is his strong style over there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's crazy. So Rob Van Dam here, I see. Rob Van Dam and Katie Forbes are expecting their first child. Dude, RVD is like 56, bro. This is crazy to me.
Yeah.
They are not young. But I got to imagine if RVD were to have a son, you imagine how good a father that dude was probably going to be.
Awesome.
I mean, what a genuinely just cool dude, man. He just looks cool.
Yeah.
The epitome of cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Carlito is officially a free agent now. And All Elite Wrestling star responded to him saying he was a free agent. It would be one Brian Cage, who's had 2 surgeries within a month and is already in the gym fucking recovering, lifting ungodly amounts of weight already. Yeah. Brian Cage responded to the post stating, "I want you to be my first opponent when I come back." I wouldn't mind seeing Carlito make an AEW appearance. It's kind of cool. It's like when Jushin Thunder Liger wrestled. Fuck. How can I forget? That dude was one of my favorites in NXT. Liger at NXT TakeOver.
Oh, who'd he fight?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Sammy?
No. It was I Am Gorgeous.
Oh, Tyler Breeze.
Yes, Tyler Breeze. Why was I thinking Tyler Bate? Tyler Breeze. So yeah, it's if you have like a one-off appearance here and there, that's kind of cool because you could say like Kushida wrestled in NXT.
Yeah.
Jushin Thunder Liger did. Nakamura went and wrestled Muta for his last match. It was his request, and that would not have been granted if Vince was in charge. That's one thing I will give Triple H.
He does let them
do, like that. That's a dream type of opportunity for you. So yeah, I think it'd be cool to see Carlito as a one-off, like eating the apple backstage. Spits at Cage. Cage gets pissed, says, "Fuck, get out there." And they have a match, a one-off, and Carlito will put him over. He doesn't fucking care. So that's pretty cool. Congrats to RVD and Katie Forbes, former TNA talent. RVD's made appearances in AEW. He's also been hypercritical of AEW in certain situations, which, it is what it is, bro, but you were in ECW. So, let's not act like you weren't around that type of match where there's blood.
Yeah.
And one Frank Mortos, the Beast Mortos, passed his law exam and will be a lawyer in a few months. What say you, Bo? Are you going to... Would he wear the mask in court?
I hope.
I could only hope so. I need him in full character as a lawyer, just going... Argh!
Yeah.
That's awesome. So now we're going to get into 28 years later. Here's what do you want to see from the first of the new trilogy?
I just want it to be worth the hype. I mean, the fact that they genuinely actually like waited all this time just to make it accurate.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it's as good as we think it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, so the creator of it, the original creator, Danny Boyle, is involved in the trilogy. I believe the Bone Temple is already filmed as well. They filmed at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about the third one, though. I do know these two were in succession.
Yeah, because you don't want to pull a Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
We got the first one, then we got the second one, and now like the third's not slated until 2027, but it was supposed to be out last year.
So full transparency, I've intended to watch the second one since it's come out. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
It's an amazing movie. It ending on a cliffhanger hurts when the other one has like no...
When it hasn't been made.
Yeah.
So what I want to see is it looks like they're flashing back to when it first starts, right? And I think the priest in the trailer, it is the infected priest that comes after Cillian Murphy in 28 Days Later.
Yeah.
Remember when he goes, Father, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then he's on the run, then he gets saved, et cetera, et cetera. But I want a little further. You need to erase the semi-mistake that 28 Weeks Later was by giving me that backstory. I need the involvement of, okay, are we just ignoring 28 Weeks Later and furthering 28 Days Later to this?
Yeah.
Or are we acknowledging, like Roman Reigns, are we acknowledging that movie exists in said universe? In which case I need to see what happened between. You know what I mean? I need some attention paid to that second film in the way that, okay, we brought people back to the UK. We cleared it out as best as we could. The infected died off, et cetera, et cetera. Brought people back, and then the shit hits the fan again, and then we see the Eiffel Tower. Well, is this worldwide? Did this spread? Because the helicopter that was carrying the people, the kid was a carrier of the disease. But like his mother, he didn't display the rage.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming that's the infected, how they got to France.
Yeah.
But is this a worldwide epidemic, or are we ignoring 28 Weeks Later and just deleting it from canon? What do you think they're going to do there?
I mean, I feel like you have to continue the canon.
Yeah, you have to include that because it was Jeremy Renner was fucking awesome in that movie, by the way.
I think he's just a great actor. He's very underappreciated.
I think like Chris Pratt, he kind of keeps to himself, and Thor.
Oh, Hemsworth.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
They just seem like three dudes. They don't
chill.
They don't really want to get involved in like the political ideology
or
bullshit.
Hollywood. Like they're just making movies.
Leave me alone, bro.
Yeah.
Like let me be fucking Hawkeye.
I love Chris Pratt. I think he's hilarious.
He gets hate because he's a Christian, and I'm not a Christian.
But why are you hating on this guy for just going to church?
Yeah, just let him be.
Yeah.
You guys want to be left alone, right?
Yeah,
so leave him alone, bro.
He goes to church and he's
married.
One of the safest actors.
He's married, has kids. I mean, it's Keanu Reeves, another one. He's very quiet, reserved. He's a pretty good fucking bass player too.
Yeah.
I mean, he
I also was not expecting him. Like, I feel like it's one thing to be an actor, but I feel like acting and voice acting are actually two like monumentally different things.
Yeah.
Because you can nail being a physical actor, but when it's just your voice, I mean, now your voice has to do the acting.
So here's the thing. I used to fantasize about being an actor, but strictly in horror and sci-fi.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to be the killer. Yeah. Right? So I thought about like how would that be, but then, man, how do you go about like your normal life? Because especially now when everyone's got a fucking a phone with a camera and all this shit and can just like sneak pics of you. Oh, look, he's out here. Oh, look, oh, he went into a fucking massage parlor with a bastard.
Yeah.
Like, shit like that. I would have loved to have been in horror movies, but I think the best ability I have would be to contribute to voiceovers because I can impersonate people really well.
Yeah, when I was younger, I really wanted to do voice acting, but it's just not a job that they don't get paid enough.
No, they don't. It could be something that you do as a passion project on the side. It can't be your main living unless you're like Mark Hamill. So he's a known name.
Yeah, like there's obviously voice actors who have risen above. I can think of like
H. John Benjamin, who does Bob's Burgers and Archer.
Cassandra Lee Morris is in fucking every single thing to ever exist.
The woman who does Lois from Family Guy, she was on the not Saturday Night Live, the other show with Artie Lang.
Oh god, yeah.
Fuck, man. I mean, like we talk about pop culture, and here I am. Here, you talk. I'm gonna look that up because now it's gonna fucking piss me off.
I think right now where you could get the most success if you were to ever be a voice actor is anime or video games because
it's big,
it's huge, and dubbing is necessary. I think a lot of the ones now get their fame from that. Cassandra Lee Morris is a big one. I'll play through a video game and I'll hear her voice for like 0.2 seconds, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, this woman's in another game.
Yeah.
A lot of the current big voice actors all kind of got their fame from, funnily enough, it was, I think, Persona 5 was kind of where all the big voice actors that are currently going.
Mad TV. Yeah.
But, like, there's Max Middleman. Xander Mobus is the announcer for Smash and is also the voice actor for Joker in Persona. A big one. Obviously, all of Overwatch's voice actors became famous. They're huge. And I just hope these people get paid more. But in that sense, Keanu Reeves blew my mind because he has now done 2 voice acting jobs and he has nailed them both. So his first one was Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
He's Johnny Silverhand, which is literally just the in-game player model is Keanu Reeves. And when I first saw that, I was like, I don't know how this is going to be. Because, like, actors being in a video game was very new.
Yeah.
Like, we have voice actors, but you never have a Hollywood actor in a video game.
Yeah, so it's kind of odd. So who else was in there? Daryl, right? Norman Reedus.
So Death Stranding as Norman Reedus.
Yep.
Which the new one's coming out in a few weeks, and they got even more actors.
Who else is in there now?
What's his name? Starts with an N. Let me check. But I still need to finish the first one. I just found the first one a little boring because there's not really any combat.
Yeah.
It's just more about like the story and being a like delivery person, which I just thought was a little weird. Oh, Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen. He's one of the villains.
Oh, nice.
Then there's Troy Baker. Tommy Earl Jenkins. Like, Death Stranding is actually getting a lot of actual actors.
Well, they need to sell the game, so that's a big thing for them was getting Reedus.
Yeah, which honestly he nails. He's actually really good,
and it is his likeness in the game.
Yeah,
too.
It's literally him. But so Cyberpunk came out, and Johnny Silverhand's one of my favorite characters in a video game. He is exceptionally well written, and Keanu did an amazing job. And then, funnily enough, Keanu went from that to being Shadow the Hedgehog. Which I find is just the funny, like the guy who did John Wick is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah. That is funny too. I'm just watching the first asphyxiation of Bryan Danielson on my X feed. It came up, All Out 2024.
But I really think we're in an instance now where I could see more video games getting movies and them actually being good. I feel like the problem was back then, the Mario movie, things like that. Mario doesn't have a plot. There's no plot there. No. Now, a lot of these big RPGs, they have huge stories that they're telling. They can be turned into a film, which is why I find it weird that Elden Ring's getting a film. Because that is the one game that just does not really... Like, it tells its story very subtly. It's not in your face.
Yeah.
If I were to pick a video game to get a movie, it would have not been Zelda. I'm very scared for that movie. I don't think Zelda needed a movie, but I knew it was going to happen after Mario got one.
It's animated too, right? Or
no, it's live action.
That could go one of two ways,
yeah.
I think.
But I think Red Dead Redemption needs a movie. I love Wild West movies.
And I want to say happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I completely forgot until I saw this picture with a message from the best father in the world, Christian Cage.
Yeah. I saw that earlier. But I don't know. I think this year in general might be good for pop culture. I mean, if the world can keep itself alive through this.
Yeah, because there's heinosities here. There's heinous things going on in the Middle East.
Actually, speaking of big things, I'm not talking about any of that. But speaking of big things, PlayStation actually spoke yesterday about the future of PlayStation. And I don't know how I feel about it. So first they said that they congratulate Nintendo on the Switch 2 being massively successful and beating their record, which you could tell they're butthurt by. They're going to do the same thing that they did with the Switch, where the Switch 1 is going to sell higher than the PS2 now. And then all of a sudden Sony's going to find well, we actually sold 10 million that we just didn't know until now when you went to break our record. But here's where I have the weird feeling with them.
Yeah.
They have announced that their number one sole focus right now is the PlayStation 6. So what the fuck was this generation? This generation was kind of terrible.
Yeah.
Sony did not really bring any of the exclusives that we wanted.
I mean, obviously I enjoy the games, the normal games that I play.
Do I think it's a bad console? No. But the thing is I play my PS5 more for the games that aren't even made by Sony.
Yeah.
And Xbox is a whole other story. But them and Xbox are really not doing a good job of beating the argument of why should I buy this console over a PC?
So it's like technically between the PS4, the PS5, and now the PS5 Pro, technologically there wasn't a huge leap.
No, and I think that's what's happening. PlayStation and Xbox used to be all about the cutting edge graphics. How high can we get this to? Whereas Nintendo was never about that. They get to win just based on the formula that it's their games that matter. It's not visuals. It's not anything like that.
I think they could bring back something like even Ice Climbers.
Yeah, and it will sell.
Yes, because there's history.
Yeah.
If you look at Metroid.
Yeah.
The games, Samus, if they were to bring back and modernize Contra.
When I think of something, think about how well the Switch 2 just sold in its first 3 days, and that's with one game.
Mm-hmm.
This is without... There's no new Zelda yet. There's no new Mario yet. They just sold 3.5 million consoles on Mario Kart.
Which is crazy.
And there's people who are like, oh, it will stagnate. No, it won't. Because now all they have to do is make more games. The console's out. They don't have to worry about that anymore. And I think the Switch 2 is going to be a decade. I think it's going to last a decade. If the Switch 1 could last 8 years on the dated hardware that it was and do that successful, Switch 2 is going to do even better.
Plus, the thing that Nintendo does is a very cost-efficient online program for digital games.
There's people complaining about why is Mario Kart $80? Why is the console $450? Well, one, the console's literally 100 more than the Switch 1, and it's 10 times the power. But at the same time, do you guys not understand that this is the same thing that happened back when the Switch first came out? Everybody complained that the Switch 1 was $300, which, by the way, looking back at it, I'm like, really?
Yeah,
that's
the
same price as the Wii U, and it's better in every way.
Yeah, and that, listen, $300 for something like that, that's crazy.
And what's crazy is these people are going to complain about it, but in 2 to 3 years' time, the same thing's going to happen, where the Nintendo is going to become the most cost-efficient one. Because if you think the PS6 is going to be less than $600, you're an idiot. They were already testing their fan base with the Pro being $700.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a guess that the price point with how many gig you think they're going to have memory, internal memory.
Probably, it looks like for them 2 terabyte is the norm now. Like I ended up being able to kind of solder my Spider-Man plates, and so I kind of have a Spider-Man Pro. So mine's my Spider-Man, but it has the specs of a Pro in it from just switching out parts. But it's a 2 terabyte SSD, and so that seems to be the norm that they're going for. But here's my problem: their games are doing nothing but getting bigger, and I don't understand why. Because, yes, they're 4K. 4K textures are huge for file size. But the new Mario Kart is 20 gigabytes. It's a 4K game.
Mm-hmm. I would fathom to guess, dependent on release year that's decided for this PS6.
Yeah.
700.
Yeah, I'm thinking 700. I think the Pro set that price.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just, well, you're going to gobble it up now because you already bought the Pro.
But here's where Sony dicked themselves with this. Now you have to make technological leaps.
Yeah, because now it's like, am I really just going to buy the PS6, which is just a PS 5.5, when the PS5 was just a PS 4.5?
Yeah, and you gave me the PS Pro, which is 5.75.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
so
they have a really right idea with the Pro. And I will say, like, if they lower the price, I think it's a good option, but the price is the fucking problem with that thing. It's not justifiable.
Learn from fucking Xbox.
Which, by the way, so they announced a handheld, and it's basically them teaming up with Asus. So Asus has a portable PC that almost kind of looks like a Switch, but it's a PC. Like, I could do all my Windows stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the issue. For somebody like me, who's like a really big tech person, I'm interested in getting those types of things because I know I'll actually use them. But the price of this portable has been leaked, as has the release date. They're releasing it in October, which is a horrible month to do it in.
Yeah, why would you not listen?
Because October through November, PlayStation and Nintendo are going to own that. Because they have holiday titles. PlayStation
Already
has Ghosts of Yotei coming out, which I'm super amped for. And Nintendo has Pokemon. That's all they need.
Yeah, I mean, that's... And plus, I would launch it in spring of next year if you want. You have to wait till Black Friday, and after Christmas.
That's where I think Nintendo are geniuses. They don't launch in the holiday anymore. They launch after people get their tax returns. Yeah. And so they know more people will buy their stuff.
Yeah, because they're more likely to use that money on frivolities and you know, wants versus needs.
And I think the issue that you run into is the price is $899. It is $900.
Yeah, no thanks. And I'm not, listen, truth be told, I can't stand Xbox. Their controllers are fucking shit. They're clunky. It's not even subjective. That's the truth. I hate their controllers. For me, the perfect gaming controller was the PS2 and A2, because they're tied for me, the GameCube. Those are the two best controllers.
Mine for the longest time was the Switch Pro controller because it was just such a simple form factor. But the two kind of demolished it. Like, I went to touch my Switch 1 controller yesterday, and I was like, man, this just feels so cheap compared to this one.
Yeah, well, it's again, this is part of a higher price point.
Yeah.
Is making fucking improvements.
Yeah, and I think where Xbox's issue. Oh, another thing to touch on with them. So if you thought $80 games was exclusive to Mario Kart, Xbox has officially announced that their tentpole titles will be $80.
Yeah, but you're getting 80 for Mario Kart, you idiots. You got what 30 tracks
plus 120 intermission roads that count as tracks.
It's crazy the amount of shit that's in that fucking game.
Yeah.
And it's going to be crazier when they put out the next Smash Brothers,
yeah,
which they're going to put out.
It's the moneymaker.
And they're probably going to add characters to it as well and more stages to fight. I would add more Pokemon characters too.
And if I were Nintendo, I would do Smash sooner than later.
Yes.
Because the earlier you have it in a console's lifespan, the more you can support it.
Smash Brothers is a type of thing where if you put that out
like year 2,
next March, tax time, everyone's buying it.
Yeah.
And make enough copies too, and make sure your fucking digital mainframe is going to handle the amount of people that will buy that and play it.
I will tell you, every time Smash had a DLC character come out, the servers broke because of how many people were trying to buy the character.
Yep. So that's how you could tell you have a good game that's marketable, and it's just it gives you. If Smash came out and was $100, I wouldn't even sneeze at it because I know I'd play the shit out of it.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think people need to understand that video games are a leisure.
Yeah.
They're a leisure item. They're luxury.
So when I come home, right, from work and you talk to some fucking stupid people all day, dunderheads, Bo deals with kids.
And
he's a teacher.
Parents.
And so, after that long day, I like to come home and I'll throw on like 2K Universe and just sink into that. I'll go into my creative world in Minecraft and build.
Yeah.
I'll go play Forza or Gran Turismo and just race and drive. It's a relaxing. It helps you unwind, right?
Yeah.
So Smash Brothers is immersive as well. Once you get going, it's like Skylanders had a perfect game plan.
Yeah.
The only thing that they did that I didn't like was they took verses out.
Yeah. And I think they got a little too carried away with yearly releases. It's the same problem that Call of Duty has.
Yeah, where now I've got 8 versions of Gil Grunt.
Yeah.
And it's nothing against Gil Grunt. It's just...
Which, by the way, U2's, those like toy makers, for Skylanders Anniversary, they're actually making plushies. And, I haven't seen anything Skylanders related in years.
We have a couple of their plushies. We have Trigger Happy, I believe, and the Lava.
Oh, Eruptor.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy there's a Gil Grunt one, so I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah.
But so I'm assuming Call of Duty is gonna be $80 this year.
Yeah. And they're probably gonna give you extra worlds like zombies or something similar. Do you think they could do a crossover with Aliens or Predator? And
they've done a lot of crossovers recently.
And have that be a thing where you're against like a troop of xenomorphs.
Like I know Black Ops 6 recently had Jay and Silent Bob. They're just kind of going for anything. Art the Clown was in it.
Art the Clown, by the way, Art the Clown is very popular now.
Yeah. But here's where I see why Xbox is doing this. They don't care about selling the game. They're making these games $80 to force you to subscribe to Game Pass.
Yes.
Because now it's like, well, you're going to buy this one game for $80 or subscribe for $15 a month and you get that plus 100 other games.
Yeah, and the subscription shit works wonders. But what did WWE find out?
Yeah.
They hemorrhaged subscribers after the Peacock pay-per-view deal.
Yeah, and not just that, but somebody will subscribe to play the new game and then unsubscribe.
Yeah, like...
they're basically paying $15 to play your $80 game.
Like we would subscribe at Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and then that's it.
Yeah.
And mostly we were watching old shit in
In
NXT.
Yeah.
So it's like that. Like, you can't guarantee and count on the subscription. Now, where they could get you is if they make you sign up for a minimum of 6 months.
Yeah. Or here's what I'm thinking. At this point, tie Game Pass into your online subscription. Like, if they really want to sell this thing, all right, well, you can't play online until you subscribe.
There you go. You gotta. It's a little. It's tit for tat.
Look at Nintendo. Their online subscription's the cheapest one, and now I get the NES, SNES, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Sega Genesis, GameCube, N64.
Yeah, I still have my OG N64, which I love.
But it's like all that, and it's $50 a year.
Yeah,
Whereas,
a year.
Yeah, these other ones are like $50 a month.
Yeah, which is crazy. Like, I understand. Listen, I understand the servers have to be maintained. I get it.
But here's where my problem is. It was a free thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was free at one point. Xbox 360 and PS3. And
it was free.
I will forever. This will be the one singular thing I blame on Sony because they started it.
Mm-hmm.
They were basically like, well, PS Plus it costs now. And Xbox was like, all right, well, we're going to keep gold free. But then they realized, like...
The money maker.
Yeah. And I really think during that era, Xbox was great. You had two great companies. All three companies were putting out crazy things. And if anything, when I look back at it, I mean, there are certain games in the library of the Wii that I love, but the Wii was the worst out of the three.
How much is it yearly now for PS Plus?
$180.
$180 yearly? So you take that, right? And globally, conservatively, how many millions do you think?
I mean, if the PS5 is now up to, I think, like 70 million people owning it, probably 50 million. I gotta think a majority need online. Yeah.
So, I mean, in that just 1 year, I'm not figuring taxes out or any extra games that you purchase digitally, $9 billion
just comes from online.
Comes from subscriptions. And that's not even everybody who owns one.
Yeah.
So this is why they went that way. But I don't think these things have to be that costly.
No.
I really don't.
And if anything, you'll get more subscribers for a lower price.
And then conversely, how can you complain about $80 games when you're dropping $180 a year?
Yeah. That's what I say. It's like you're
paying for the data dump.
You're hating on an $80 game, but you're spending $130 on the deluxe edition, which comes with like 3 skins. Yeah,
it comes with that, like 2K comes with an extra John Cena.
Here's my biggest one: is a lot of these games have people spend $100 or over for the early access.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something: the early access is just the release date.
Yeah.
Everybody else is just playing later than the release date. That is not early access. That is just you're paying to play the game when it's supposed to come out.
Yeah.
Or the ones where it's like, if you pre-order now for $90, you can play in the beta for 3 days.
Oh, by the way, I'm going to let Bo in on something that I want to do later on tonight once he gets back home. I want to watch an episode of NWA on Roku and see how it is. Well, listen, for you, the listeners, we torture ourselves by watching some terrible shit. Okay? Terrible shit. Including NFL games because I have fantasy players on teams where now I have to watch like the fucking Browns against the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Or the Browns against the Titans, like shit like that.
The Colts against like half the teams they're against.
Or everybody against the Colts. Like I don't even know what our team. I think Daniel Jones is going to be our starter. But honestly, I'm watching footage, dude.
He's not bad.
His throws are very piercing. They're nice.
We just need to have an O-line that can defend him.
Yeah, because if he starts running, dude, this motherfucker trips over nothing, and you've seen it on TV.
Yeah.
He got tripped by a ghost. But anything else you want to talk about tonight? I mean, tonight, this afternoon?
Yeah. I feel like when it comes to everything, and I've been seeing it online recently, I feel like, not to be cliche, but god damn, people have just become so hateful of everything.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot just enjoy anything anymore. I've been seeing it a lot, especially with Nintendo.
Yeah.
If I go out and say, like, oh, I bought a Switch 2, I'm having a lot of fun with Mario Kart, I get, like, you should fucking kill yourself. I can't believe you're supporting corporate greed. Spoiler alert. Every corporation is corporate greed, you dumb fuck.
Spoiler alert, you probably just typed that comment on social media on your fucking iPhone, idiot.
Yeah, on Twitter. Like, you're literally using two things that are corporate greed. The people who are... I get it, man. I can understand not liking capitalism or anything like that, or just economies in general.
Capitalism in its purest, truest form is great.
Yeah, but we're not in capitalism anymore. We're in corporatism.
Yes.
This is a corporate world. This is corporate America. You need to understand, I can hate corporations and still buy things that I want to buy. That is the entire point. I'm making it the point that I'm going to buy what I want to buy and not buy what I don't want to buy. What these people don't understand is they believe that to go against a corporation is just everybody needs to not buy something. That's not how it works.
Yeah, they boycott. And this is on the left and the right.
Like,
they do the same shit.
The word I see everywhere now is shill.
Yeah.
If you do anything, you're a shill. I don't think you know what the fuck that word even means. I'm not over here gassing up Nintendo for making poor business decisions. Do I think it's okay to delete fan games? No. Do I think it's okay to put lawsuits against your own fans for putting fan art and things like that? No. That's some Disney level shit.
Yeah.
I don't think that's okay. But I also am not going to say that I am going to stop playing their games. Or like Doom the Dark Ages came out recently. And God forbid it wasn't as good as the last one. It's the worst fucking game of all time now. Mm-hmm. Every game that comes out, it's like people love it for the first 3 months, and then all of a sudden they hate it.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild, you remember when it came out, it was like the revolutionary thing. It changed open world forever. Yeah. Now it's, well, I don't know, I don't think Breath of the Wild was that good. It's like, you just want to be different so bad.
Yeah, the contrary opinion, just to be contrary.
I play anything I want. Overwatch, not a great game. The developers are fucking morons when they want to be, but I love the game.
Yeah, well, these two things can also be true, right? I can not like Elon Musk, but like his Teslas.
Yeah.
Or I can like Elon Musk and not like electric vehicles.
I despise Activision, but I won't lie. Some years when a Call of Duty looks really fun, I'm going to get it. This year's looks fucking awesome. Black Ops is my favorite Call of Duty series.
Listen, guys, this will be my my political caveat on this whole thing, right? The hatred that Bo is talking about, keeps 7.5 to 8 billion people divided in this world. And I'm talking about division of all types. I don't have to get into it. I'm not getting on a soapbox. The group of people that control money and control governments and societies and things like that, they stoke the flames of this division. It's okay to have a debate or constructive conversation with people who don't perfectly align with you.
Yeah.
That's what we used to do.
I am in the boat where I have my own opinions, values, beliefs on everything, whether, political, video games, pop culture,
religion.
Sports, religion. Yeah. But I could never hate somebody just for differing from me.
Yeah, like if you're a horrible person.
Yeah. I mean, like, if you're a diddler, I don't even hope you go to prison. I just hope you fucking burn.
Yeah. And that was both of us saying that at the same time.
But like, I don't understand it. Like, I'm not religious, but I think people finding their own ways of belief, it's cool. If it's something that gives you merit and makes you want to be here, go for it, man.
I have friends that are Catholics and Christian. I have friends that are atheists.
My girlfriend's family is Buddhist.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's so many different things, man. If I were to clarify myself as anything, I would be one with like true Satanism.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in the idea that we are our own deity,
Yeah.
and that is why the choices we make is because we control our lives. You make good or bad decisions, therefore the outcome of your life is dependent on you.
Yeah, and everybody has their own individual independent morals.
Yeah.
So it's, do you want to devolve or do you want to evolve?
Yeah. But I see it everywhere, man. I go to work and it's like you disagree with one thing and suddenly you're the worst human being.
Oh my God, you're a nazi.
Yeah,
Dude.
My thing is with both sides, there's just buzzwords. Every argument is just
It's
fucking
talking
buzzwords.
points.
It's just you're racist. This is woke. This is this. This is bad. This is sexist, sizist, ageist.
Nationalists.
Yeah, and it goes both ways. Like I think the term woke lost its ideology. There are people who truly believe in like, all right, this is pushing it too much. This is obvious that they don't actually care about race. They're just pushing it for money.
Yeah.
But then there's the other side where it's like, if a woman's in something, all of a sudden it's just woke. Like I've seen it online. Like there's a difference. Disney does clear as day.
Gender swapping,
they
race
don't give
swapping.
a fuck.
Yes.
They just do it to make money.
Yeah.
Whereas like people are complaining about there's a small, minute few, and that's the thing. Everything is a small echo chamber.
Yeah, this is the vocal minority.
And what I told people was the Switch 2 was actually a perfect example of that. Because all I saw online on Twitter, this console's doomed to fail. And then guess what? Went out and sold 3.5 million because 95% of the population doesn't go on Twitter.
We are in a strange timeline.
Yeah.
Where I have black people that voted for Trump or say he has good ideas.
White supremacists.
Yes, they're calling him white supremacists. I'm like, you guys, you've lost the plot.
Well, like a big thing that I was going to say is, so Ghost of Yotei takes place 200 years after the original game. And Jin, the main character, his descendant just so happens to be a woman now. A very cool, badass woman. Like, that's the thing. They're not trying to do like any of these weird like stereotypes that are pushed.
Yeah.
It is just a woman. It just so happened that it was a woman. And there's people complaining. Well, look at this. They're just pushing this, and that. But then these same people love Stellar Blade, which is a game where the main character is a woman, but they love it because she's a woman with tit and ass physics.
Yeah.
Who is just treated like a doll.
Mm-hmm.
There's two very different types of things.
And then conversely, you have like hideous freaking land whale dump trucks that don't like that because it's based on it's a drawn, pretty, attractive woman. They're like, you're objectifying everything. So
everything needs to exist. That's the problem. Everything needs to exist. I think it, like the whole thing with the Zelda movie, some people want Hunter Schafer. I think that'd be cool. Hunter looks a lot like Zelda. It would work. I understand people who wouldn't want it because, like, okay, maybe you don't like, trans ideology, maybe something like that. But for me, it's like, if it happens, dude. I'm just here to fucking enjoy things, and then when I get older, die. Yeah. That's all my life is.
Hopefully when we get older, because the shit going on now, I don't even want to get into on this show.
I don't hate anything. I don't support anything. I'm just simply here to like what I want to like.
I do my thing.
Yeah. If a Zelda movie's coming out, I'm fucking watching the Zelda movie. I love Zelda.
And that's all it should be, So I think we're good there. Yeah. We give you a little dose of real shit in our show. Little levity, little balance, right? But now I got lawn care to do, and I enjoy lawn care. I'm just going to say it. I enjoy taking care of the yard. It's weird. Call me names for it. I don't care. But happy Father's Day to all the fathers. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will talk to you again on Wednesday on Rumble and YouTube. Same Zorgog time, same Boe channel. This is Zorgog signing off for Pop Culture Punch Out and Boe.
Yes.
Just sign out.
Oh, I'm signing off.
Very good. We will talk to you Wednesday. Peace.